the Atlanta Falcons in free agency be pursuing a notable backup quarterback? The reason why I'm talking about this today was I came across an ESPN article where Ben Slowick highlighted, hey, what's the path for the next Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield, where the league just discards them and someone signs them to a cheap 1-year contract and they have this breakout season and everyone's wondering, all right, well, who's going to be the Darnold of this offseason? And I just thought it was an interesting article, so I was just reading it. And you'll see later on in this video, somehow, and I think surprisingly so, the Atlanta Falcons become a part of this article. But Ben highlighted a couple of these like revived quarterbacks. Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, Ryan Tannehill, Jared Goff. It's like guys that most people in the league, fans, thought they're not going to be around for too much longer. They're not going to be a Pro Bowl level quarterback, and all of a sudden, they're all having phenomenal seasons. So how do you find the next revived quarterback? So Ben highlighted 5 candidates, and you can go read the article for yourself. I'm not going to, go over word for word, but he had a criteria of what it would take to be a candidate for a revival project. Sam Darnold, since he's a free agent again, but Justin Fields, Daniel Jones, Jameis Winston, and Zach Wilson. So with these 5 revival candidates, he was trying to find some homes for them. And this is where I was surprised. He had Atlanta Falcons batting leadoff. Did not expect to see Atlanta here, right? I was just reading for the sake of reading, which I don't read a lot, but I was blown away that the Falcons would be in this kind of group. The Jets make sense. The Giants make sense. The Vikings make sense if they don't bring back Darnold, but even they're a little weird. The Rams, if they trade Matthew Stafford, makes sense. What the hell is Atlanta doing here? Just took Penix 8th overall. So, before I just exit out of the article, I thought, well, let's just hear him out. So here's what Ben said. If there's no starting job available for Winston or Jones, the QB2 spot on Atlanta's roster looks promising. Drake London is a great receiver. Does he clear the elite bar? Jury's still out. I think he's elite. Michael Penix Jr. is coming off a rookie season, and he has yet to prove he belongs. Though early returns are promising, he has an injury history. The potential for grabbing snaps is high, and the bar for veteran quarterback play in Atlanta, which most recently watched Mariota, Heinicke, and Cousins, is extremely low. Is Solik saying anything false? No, he's not. We didn't see a lot from Penix. He does have a very lengthy injury history. But did anyone else come away with this idea of, it sounds like he's not a big Penix believer, and he's already forecasting there's a really good chance they go to a backup, whether it's an injury or maybe a quarterback change. And that's where there's a fork in the road, because I'm not going down that road with him. I don't believe Atlanta should be in pursuit of a quarterback who they want to see get revived. No, I think Atlanta should be in a pursuit of a quarterback who wants to be Michael Penix's backup. When Baker was signed by the Bucs, it was not to back up Kyle Trask. It was to compete for the starting job. When Sam Darnold was signed to Minnesota, not to back up JJ, but to push the rookie and see if he could win the starting job in year 1. Some of those were signed to be backups like Geno, but that's not really, I think, the nature of this, because those were not free agent signings from that previous offseason with the intention of, hey, there's a chance we might turn to you. Geno just kind of fell into Seattle's lap of, whoa, an injury to Russ, and wow, look at the opportunity you had and what you did with it. So no, I'm not really on this page of Atlanta should be looking for these revival candidates because of Penix's injury history or a lack of belief in him. No, they should find a backup for Michael Penix to be the backup. And there are different forms and shades of backup quarterbacks. You can have a backup like Baker when he went to the Bucs initially, where it's like, hey, we're signing you to compete for the starting gig. No one should be signed to Atlanta to compete for the starting job. Meaning, you shouldn't be giving out big contracts to free agent quarterbacks to push Penix a little bit. I think you should go all in on Penix, like full belief, and not hedge your bets. I think you should sign a backup whose job and his sole purpose is to lift up Penix. Not every quarterback is made to do that. Chase Daniel, an excellent example of someone who was retired now in the league for a long time. Not because he has some crazy arm, because he was a nice guy and he was a good backup. He knew his role. He was there to help the starter. And those revival quarterbacks, I don't think they're coming to Atlanta to help Penix. I think they're going to come to Atlanta to take the starting quarterback gig. I'm not interested in that type of signing. I want a backup who's there to support Penix. That, to me, is the criteria for any backup quarterback acquisition. So if you still believe, or not still believe, but if you just believe in Michael Penix, because I was a fan of his coming out of the draft and just the pre-draft process altogether. Sure, I definitely was very questionable, to put it lightly, of the pick given the Kirk Cousins signing, but from a pure prospect layout, I am in on Penix being a successful quarterback in the NFL, especially after what we saw to close out the 2024 season. So who are the quarterbacks that I would pursue? Not these revival guys. I want backups. These are backups. Jacoby Brissett. Taylor Heinicke was traded away, but remember, Atlanta held on to him when we all thought he would be released. So he already has some familiarity with the team and maybe a little bit of the playbook. Might not be a bad idea to bring him back. You see this more often than you think in the NFL. Jarrett Stidham, he was the backup for Bo Nix after a little bit of starting time in 2023 when Russ got benched. Joe Flacco, he knows his role, and I think he could be an awesome resource for Penix in his development. Dobbs, another great resource for developing a young quarterback. Obviously a very bright guy, went to an incredible university where they taught him very, very well. And then Teddy Bridgewater, who, same boat of great resource, been around the league for a while, could be someone for Penix to lean on. My preferred candidate of those six, I'd probably go Jacoby Brissett. I think for two reasons. One, I think he knows his role of a backup to support the starter. He's done that time and time again. He went to New England. He started off early in the season. They turned it over to Drake May, and Brissett was there supporting Drake May. So he's been in this spot before where he helps the young quarterback develop. He shows him how to watch film and what to watch for. And also, if an injury were to happen, which God forbid not, but you do want to have a backup where if he has to start for 2, 3, or 4 weeks, I always have the mindset of a good backup should go 500. If you have a quality team, which I think Atlanta's a quality roster, and Penix misses 4 games, you want a backup you can believe can go 2-2. 3 games, you hope for 2-1. But you don't want a backup who you have no faith in actually winning a game for you, and all you're doing is crossing your fingers that Penix never goes down. So if his number does get called for hopefully just a short amount of time, I do believe Brissett as a quarterback can help keep this season or team afloat for however long he's on the field for. But overall, I'm not hedging any bets on Penix, right? I'm not hedging a bet on, took him 8th overall, but we could sign Daniel Jones and see if we can get his career back on track. No, that should not be the focus of the Atlanta Falcons coaching staff. The focus should be on getting the best out of your 8th overall draft pick. And that comes from your offensive coordinator, your head coach, the quarterback's coach, and the backup quarterback. They should be there to do everything to make Penix the best version of himself. And if you are in the midst of developing a young quarterback while also screwing around with this revival project like you're restoring an old car, I don't think you're putting all the right resources into the main attraction, the 8th overall pick from last year's draft. You don't bring Brissett there and go, see if we can get Jacoby Brissett to some Pro Bowl level. No, you bring Brissett there to hold down the fort if needed and to make sure Michael Penix is ready every single Sunday. So speaking of our friend MPJ, over or under 20 touchdowns for him in 2025. Let me know in the comment section which one you think he's going to land on. He threw 3, I think, or 4. I think he had 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, something like that. But very small sample size, rookie season. So not making any big judgments off of that. But yeah, life's too short. Give me the over on this one. Before we get on out of here, quick deal going on. This Falcons t-shirt and a lot more other stuff is having a big sale right now when you go to chatsports.com/Falcons50. I put that link in the comments and description of today's episode. So if you want to, re-up your Falcons wardrobe a little bit before spring gets here and into the summer months, use our link to support the channel and get some awesome Falcons gear as well. Let's spin the wheel to pick a random commenter from a previous video. See who's going to get 2 claps today. Here we go. We got 6 commenters up, and our lucky winner is Dylan Bear. Dylan, thank you so much for tuning in, for supporting the channel. 2 claps for Dylan, everyone. 1, 2. Dylan, enjoy the rest of your day, and for everyone else, I'll see you all tomorrow.